Yesterday by Haruki Murakami. Erika stared at the candle flame flickering in the breeze from the A.C. I often have the same dream, she said. Akikun and I are on a ship. A long journey on a large ship. We're together in a small cabin, it's late at night, and through the porthole we can see the full moon. But that moon is made of pure, transparent ice. And the bottom half of it is sunk in the sea. That looks like the moon, Akikun tells me, but it's really made of ice and is only about 8 inches thick. So when the sun comes out in the morning it all melts. You should get a good look at it now, while you have the chance. I have had this dream so many times. It's a beautiful dream. Always the same moon. Always 8 inches thick. I'm leaning against Akikun. It's just the two of us, the waves lapping gently outside. But every time I wake up I feel unbearably sad. Erika Kuritani was silent for a time. Then she spoke again. I think how wonderful it would be if Akikun and I could continue on that voyage forever. Every night we'd snuggle close and gaze out the porthole at that moon made of ice. Come morning the moon would melt away, and at night it would reappear. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe one night the moon wouldn't be there. It scares me to think that. I get so frightened it's like I can actually feel my body shrinking. When I saw Kitaru at the coffee shop the next day, he asked me how the date had gone. You kiss her? No way, I said. Don't worry, I'm not gonna freak if you did, he said. I didn't do anything like that, didn't hold her hand. No. I didn't hold her hand, so what would you do? We went to see a movie, took a walk, had dinner and talked. I said, that's it? Usually you don't try to move too fast on a first date, really? Kitaru said. I never been out on a regular date, so I don't know. Does your client wish to plead sweet or lane, pizza and Chianti? He sounded surprised. I never knew she liked pizza. We have only been to, noodle shops and cheap diners. Why? I didn't even know she could drink. Kitaru never touched liquor himself. There are probably quite a few things you don't know about her, I said. I answered all his questions about the date. About the Woody Allen film. At his insistence, I reviewed the whole plot, the meal, how much the bill came to, whether we split it or not, what she had on, white cotton dress, hair pinned up, what kind of underwear she wore. How would I know that? What we talked about. I said nothing about her going out with another guy. Nor did I mention her dreams of an icy moon. You guys decide when you'll have a second date. No, we didn't, I said. Why not? You liked her, didn't you? She's great. But we can't go on like this. I mean, she's your girlfriend, right? You say it's okay to kiss her, but there is no way I can do that. More pondering by Kitaru. You know something, he said finally. I have been seeing a therapist since the end of junior high. My parents and teachers, they all said to go to one. 'Cause I used to do things at school from time to time. You know, not normal kinda things. But going to a therapist hasn't helped, far as I can see. It sounds good in theory, but therapists don't give a crap. They look at you like they know what's going on. then make you talk on and just listen. Man, I could do that. But I enjoyed being with her. If she were my girlfriend, I'd never let her out of my sight. Kitaru considered this. He was about to say something but thought better of it. So what would you eat? He asked finally. I told him about the pizza and the Chianti. You're still seeing a therapist, yeah. Twice a month. Like throwing your money away, if you ask me. Erika didn't tell you about it. I shook my head. Tell you the truth, I don't know what's so weird about my way of thinking. To me, it seems like I'm just doing ordinary things in an ordinary way. But people tell me that almost everything I do is weird. Well, there are some things about you that are definitely not normal, I said. Like what? Like your Kansai dialect, you could be right. Kitaru admitted. That is a little out of the ordinary. Normal people wouldn't take things that far. Yeah, you're probably right. But as far as I can tell, even if what you do isn't normal, it's not bothering anybody. Not right now. So what's wrong with that? I said. I might have been a little upset then at what or whom I couldn't say. I could feel my tone getting rough around the edges. If you are not bothering anybody, then so what? You want to speak Kansai dialect, then you should. Go for it. You don't want to study for the entrance exam. Then don't. Don't feel like sticking your hand inside Erika Kuritani's panties? Who's saying you have to? It's your life. You should do what you want and forget about what other people think. Kitaru, mouth slightly open, stared at me in amazement. You know something, Tanimura. You're a good guy. Though sometimes a little too normal, you know. What are you gonna do? I said. You can't just change your personality. Exactly. You can't change your personality. That's what I'm trying to say. But Erika is a great girl, I said. She really cares about you. Whatever you do, don't let her go. You'll never find such a great girl again. I know. You don't gotta tell me. Kitaru said. But just knowing isn't gonna help. About 2 weeks later, Kitaru quit working at the coffee shop. I say quit, but he just suddenly stopped showing up. He didn't get in touch, didn't mention anything about taking time off. And this was during our busiest season, so the owner was pretty pissed. Kitaru was owed a week's pay, but he didn't come to pick it up. He simply vanished. I have to say it hurt me. I'd thought we were good friends, and it was tough to be cut off so completely like that. I didn't have any other friends in Tokyo. The last 2 days before he disappeared, Kitaru was unusually quiet. He wouldn't say much when I talked to him. And then he went and vanished. I could have called Erika Kuritani to check on his whereabouts. But somehow I couldn't bring myself to. I figured that what went on between the two of them was their business, and that it wasn't a healthy thing for me to get any more involved than I was. Somehow, I had to get by in the narrow little world I belonged to. After all this happened, for some reason I kept thinking about my ex-girlfriend. Probably I'd felt something, seeing Kitaru and Erika together. I wrote her a long letter apologizing for how I'd behaved. I could have been a whole lot kinder to her. But I never got a reply. I recognized Erika Kuritani right away. I'd only seen her twice, and 16 years had passed since then. But there was no mistaking her. She was still lovely, with the same lively, animated expression. She was wearing a black lace dress, with black high heels and 2 strands of pearls around her slim neck. She remembered me right away, too. We were at a wine-tasting party at a hotel in Akashka. It was a black tie event, and I had put on a dark suit and tie for the occasion. She was a rep for the advertising firm that was sponsoring the event and was clearly doing a great job of handling it. It would take too long to get into the reasons that I was there. Kanimura-kun, how come you never got in touch with me after that night we went out? She asked. I was hoping we could talk some more. You were a little too beautiful for me, I said. She smiled. That's nice to hear, even if you are just flattering me. But what I'd said was neither a lie nor flattery. She was too gorgeous for me to be seriously interested in her. Back then, and even now. I called that coffee shop you used to work at, but they said you didn't work there anymore, she said. After Kitaru left, the job became a total bore, and I quit 2 weeks later. Erika and I briefly reviewed the lives we'd led over the past 16 years. After college, I was hired by a small publisher, but quit after 3 years and had been a writer ever since. I got married at 27 but didn't have any children yet. Erika was still single. They drive me so hard at work, she joked, that I have no time to get married. She was the first one to bring up the topic of Kitaru. Aki-kun is working as a sushi chef in Denver now, she said. Denver? Denver, Colorado. At least, according to the postcard he sent me a couple of months ago. Why Denver? I don't know, Erika said. The postcard before that was from Seattle. He was a sushi chef there, too. That was about a year ago. He sends me postcards sporadically. Always some silly card with just a couple of lines dashed off. Sometimes he doesn't even write his return address. A sushi chef, I mused. So he never did go to college? She shook her head. At the end of that summer, I think it was, he suddenly announced that he'd had it with studying for the entrance exams and he went off to a cooking school in Osaka. Said he really wanted to learn Kansai cuisine and go to games at Koshin Stadium, the Hanshin Tigers Stadium. Of course, I asked him, how can you decide something so important without even asking me? What about me?